It started very good. Well, welcome to the Tampa Amateur Radio Clubhouse. You guys have been here before. My name is Lou, W4LT. If you haven't, should we introduce ourselves or? Well, I'm in charge. Oh, everybody knows everybody, and it doesn't matter because we'll meet each other at the end of the thing, so it's no big deal. Well, I'm going to go over today, and I apologize that I have to sit because my back's been bothering me. So sit, and hopefully you can hear me okay. I brought this little amplifier gizmo here that's being recorded too, so there you go. What we're going to do today is called Contesting Basics. Okay, I call it the contest kindergarten because it's just real basic stuff. There's a contest that's called the NAQP, which is the North American QSO Party. It's on this weekend, unfortunately. It's on starts at 2 o'clock. So I don't know if you guys are going to hang around here or what. Use the radios, and you can. This will give you an idea how to do it. It's really easy. It's no big deal. So you don't even need to connect the radio up to the computer. You can do it without that, and I'll show you how to do that too. So this is what we're going to talk about today. What is contesting? I don't know if everybody knows that that we compete here on ham radio. It's kind of a fun thing to do. And what's the NAQP? How to format the QSOs, how they work. The difference between running and search and bounce, and how to log on the computers. I'm going to show you two different logging programs. They're not, there's more than two, but these are the two that are probably the most popular out there. And a strategy for working here at the station, and also it could be a good strategy for you to work in your home station. You don't need a big station to do this one. It's 100 watts maximum. And everybody's running 100 watts. It's a lot of the smaller stations are competing in this one as well. And you don't have to do it just to win. I mean, you just compete against yourself. So we'll talk about that. So what's radio sport? That's what they call contesting in Europe. Radio sport, Europe stuff. Started in the 20s. First contest, you know what it was? Sweepstakes. Sweepstakes was the first contest. It went on for a week. Okay, and how they contested was to pass traffic from one station to another station. That was big in those days, passing traffic back and forth. And the scores were like 700. That was the high score. And now it's like you do 2,000, 3,000 QSOs back there. 700 was a lot. The point of contesting is to talk to many, contact. I wouldn't say talk. I said they contact as many people as possible, and then make your score. Maximize it by making sure that you understand when you change bands, high rate run versus search and bounce, which we'll talk about later, and multipliers. Each station has a multiplication point when you work one of them, depending on the band and depending on the contest. And what you learn is how to practice propagation savvy, so that you know when the bands are open and when the bands are not open. And my friend Tom Small is calling me. Hey, I'm at the clubhouse, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah, I'm doing a presentation right now. See ya. Bye. That was just too funny. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so why should we contest it? People say, "Oh, those damn contesters get in the way and mess up the bands on the weekends, and I can't work." My buddy in Denver. Well, anyway. You learn to deal with HF propagation. One of the keys to contesting is know when the propagation is good, what band is open to what location, and it helps you plan out and learn to understand how the bands work, and how better to contact people in specific locations. Could be that you're going to pass traffic to somebody, and if you don't know what band to pass it on, it's better if you really understand how the propagation works in the bands, so that you can make a better choice of what band to connect. So, and you learn how to handle QRM, which is also important when the bands are busy. Contesting makes the bands quite busy. So you learn how to deal with QRM. You also learn how to use your radio, learn to use your filters, learn to adjust your audio correctly, learn to make sure that you know the timing when you make calls, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes you a better operator, frankly. I always say, the traffic guys say, "Oh, you contesters mess up the band." Well, if you need to get traffic through, and the bands are congested, and there's lots of traffic on, lots of QRM. Give it to the contester. He'll get it through, because that's what a contest guy does. They experience a lot of congestion in the bands and a lot of crazy information. You also learn how to make your station work real good. Again, like use your filters, how to use your systems, and how to use your band settings, etc. So that's the thing. And then the other cool thing is you can compare your station to other people's stations and see how, where your station is better, where their station is better, and learn how that works. So anyway, it's fun to compete, I think. And as Mario Andretti said, if it moves, somebody will find a way to race it against something else. That's the same way here. If you can work somebody, you're gonna compare it to somebody else. The competition part is the important part. Sorry about that. Okay, so most contesters don't win the contest. Let's face it. I did for the longest time. I didn't win one. But a great way to do it is just to improve your score and contest against you last year in the same contest. So if you improve your score, that means you're getting better. It's just like auto racing. There's NASCAR teams and they're pros. Guys like NK7. What is this called? NU7U, whatever. Hurlburt, Chris Hurlburt. I mean, he's a WRTC champion, but he gets into the local contest and he competes all the time. It keeps him in practice, and he's more like a NASCAR team. And there's weekend warriors like most of us here. I know myself, I'm a weekend warrior. But you learn how to do things efficiently, and that's what I like about it. And I like the competition part of it as well. So let's talk about the NAQP, which goes on today. It starts today at 2 o'clock. If you can do it here if you've got the privileges to use the club, or you can go home and try it on your station. That might be a fun thing to do. It's sponsored by NCJ, National Contest Journal. That's our quarterly magazine that the ARL puts out for contesting. If you haven't checked it out, if you're an ARL member, you get it for free. So go take a look at that. It's a great starter contest. By that I mean, if you haven't contested before, if you haven't done any competition before, this is a good way to start, because everybody's pretty equal at 100 watts. I mean, the guys with big antennas, etc. We're a big station here. For this contest, we're like K3LR is for a national contest with our antennas. But if you got a wire at home and 100 watts, you can get in and have fun. Because it's low power only, I call it the great equalizer. So everybody's at 100 watts, so you don't get much stuff. There's none of this 599 stuff. It's just your name and your state. That's basically the exchange, which we'll talk about later. There's 3 categories: single operator, assisted, or non-assisted, and we'll talk about what that is later. And multi-2, or assisted or non-assisted. And you can have a multi-single, but that puts you in the same class as a multi-2. So you can have like a single radio with multiple operators, or 2 radios with multiple operators, or 1 person with 1 radio. And they assume assisted, that's when you use the cluster. Everybody knows what a cluster is, right? The spotting cluster where you spot stations. Once you use the cluster, you're considered assisted. If you don't use the cluster, if you turn that off, you're considered non-assisted. So you have to be, you have to find the multipliers on your own by looking for them instead of watching the computer screen tell you where they are. And we'll talk about that later. So anyway, there's a format to this particular contest, and every contest has a different format, most generally. Some are similar than others, but this particular one is easy. You don't need a signal report, because everybody's fine. In the contest, everybody's 599. Let's face it, everybody's 5.9. Nobody really gives you an accurate signal report, and that's okay, because it's a requirement to say 599 or 5 and 9. And you don't need that for this contest, because we assume everybody's 5.9. We want 100 watts. So this is the stuff that needs to be logged. The time, which is automatically done by your computer, and I'll show you how that works later. The frequency, and if your computer is not connected to your radio, because most of the time you can connect your radio to your computer and it knows what frequency you're on, you know, you can turn, when you turn the knob, it follows you around the band. But if your radio is not capable of that, what do you do? Well, you just put the band, you know, let's say you're 40 meters, you put 7.0000 at the entry, and that's fine for this particular contest. They don't care. You know, the exact frequencies are not important as long as they know what band you're on. That's the key. So that you can, if again, that's a great way. If you have an older radio that can't connect to your computer, that's a great way to make that work. The frequency, again, is like I said, is just the band. His call sign, that's his call sign, the other person's call sign. Got to log that. His name, the name that he sends you, and his section or state. Usually this one is state and not section. If you work a guy in Canada, for instance, or if you work a guy in Mexico, it's their province. If you work a guy that's DX, you just put DX now. That's it. And that's what he should send you, DX. Or he can send you Puerto Rico, or he can send you, Tango, India, which would be Costa Rica or something like that. But DX is plenty. I'll just write down DX. If it's not in the United States, and Canada, it's DX. It's that simple. And that's basically it. And it's pretty simple on paper. Doing it, you know, that's the difference. So anyway, the key to the exchange is to copy it accurately. That's the key to it. A lot of people try for what they call a golden log, which is a log with no errors. I've yet to be able to achieve a golden log in anything that I've competed in. So, but you know, what they call LCR, which is your accuracy account. You can look that up, and the contest sponsor will figure that out for you, and then you can find out, you know, how close you are to a perfect log. Lowest I've done, I think it's 1.5%, which is like super good for me. Because I usually just throw shit in the computer. So anyway, there's a strategy for contesting is if you don't, if you don't lose points, you lose points if you don't copy it accurately, because 1 point for you contacting them and one other point for them contacting you. So there's here's an example of a QSO doing a run here in a logging strategy. So let's say I call CQ contest. I'll say CQ contest W4 Lima Tango Whiskey 4 London Tokyo contest, and then W3 PIE calls me, and he'll say W3 PIE, and I say W3 PIE Lou, Florida, Fox Lima. Why do I use Fox Lima, FL, instead of Florida? Because somebody might not copy Florida, So Fox Lima, it uses phonetics are very important. And then he says back to me, W4LT, thanks, Pennsylvania. And then while he's sending, I'm entering the information into the computer. But I didn't copy, his name. So I say, name again. And again, in contesting, keep it short. You say, hey, guy, be really cool. That's a nice signal you got there. But what's your name? That wastes time. So you just say, name again, or just say, again, and he'll send you the whole information again. W4LT, the name is John. John from W3PIE. Then I correct it in my log. And as soon as I correct it, I say, thanks, W4LT contest, and work the next guy. That's basically it. This is a complete QSO worth 1 point plus any multiplier. Let's say this is the only Pennsylvania station I've worked so far. I get a multiplier point for that. If not previously worked. Don't log the QSO until here's the key. Don't log that QSO until you're sure you copied the exchange correctly. It saves time and rate. Now, a lot of times you don't log it correctly the first time, and then you figure out what he's sending later, so you just relog it. And then it'll just duplicate. The first one is called a dupe. It doesn't matter. Okay? If you got the correct information the second time, doesn't matter how many times you put it in wrong. It'll come out right for that particular call sign. So, there's no need to go back and erase stuff if you don't want to. On some loggers, it's really easy to do. On some loggers, it's difficult. I've gotten into the habit of just log what I hear, and if it's wrong, if they tell me it's wrong, I log it again. So that works for me. But the key is to keep your rate up. Now, what is rate? Rate is how many people you're working per minute, per 10 minutes, and per hour. So the higher the rate, the more people you're working, the better your score theoretically should be. So anyway, let's move on here. There's different types of things. There are basically two different ways that you make contacts in a contest. One is called running. And what you do when you run is you sit on one frequency and you call CQ. What's the advantages of that? The advantage is you create a high rate. So you have the possibility of working more people because you're sitting on one frequency and you're turning them over quicker. So there's no wasted time in there. It's somewhat easier to do with this station, but it's a lot more difficult to do with a wire and 100 watts or whatever at home. So the way you're using your station also varies what strategy you use to work others. There's the disadvantages of somebody you don't, especially if you're not assisted, that you're not going to work everybody, that there's a multiplier. Because, the rarer ones are the ones that are going to sit there and run, and people are going to come to them. So you're going to have to seek them out, and that's a difference. So what's a run sound like? It sounds like this.
CQ contest, W4 Lima Tango, W4 London, Tokyo contest.
Whiskey Zero Radio Charlie.
Whiskey Zero Radio Charlie, Lou, Lima Oscar United, Florida.
Okay, it's Whiskey Zero Romeo India Charlie, W0RIC Rick, Colorado.
RIC Rick, and do you spell it like your call or RICK?
RICK.
RICK in Colorado. Thanks. Lou in Florida to you, over.
Okay, Lou, thanks a lot. Nice signal. Good luck.
Thanks. Along, W4 Lima Tango contest.
Kilo Zero Radio India.
Kilo Zero Radio India, Lou, Lima Oscar United, Florida, Fox Lima.
Lou, London Oscar Uniform, Lou, Colorado.
Thanks, 7-3, W4 Lima Tango contest.
Whiskey Zero Oscar Victor Mike.
W0 OVM, Lou, Lima Oscar United, Florida, Fox Lima.
2SL, this is Jim in Colorado. Jim in Colorado.
Thanks, 7-3, W4 Lima Tango.
Victor Echo 2, Quebec, Yankee.
Victor Echo 2, Quebec.
Quebec, Yankee. Quebec, Yankee.
Roger, Victor Echo 2, Quebec, Yankee. Lou, Lima Oscar United, Florida, Fox Lima, over.
Okay, please, your name?
Lou, Lima Oscar United, Louis.
Okay, Lou from Florida. Please copy seal. Sierra, Yankee, Lima, in Quebec.
Roger, thank you, still 7-3, W4 Lima Tango.
So that's a run. This is 15 years ago. This is the 2010 NAQP. I've gotten a little better. I don't waste as much time now being nice to people. I just say, again? So I've gotten a little better than that, that it shows here. But anyway, that's a run. Let's look at the, stand by. There you go. There we go. Let's now consider what search and pouncing is. That's when you tune around the bands, and what the advantage is you find station worth the most points and you work them. And a good way to do it on our loggers on N1MM and also other loggers is you type in the call sign that you hear, and if you don't work them, you just turn the VFO knob, and the logger will put that into your band map, and then you can always go back to that place and work that guy again. Rate is the key, and we'll talk about how to keep your rate up a little later. What are the disadvantages? Well, it takes more time to do search and pounce than it does for running. And sometimes the mults go away before you can work them because propagation changes while you're looking for other stations. So what's a search and pounce sound like? Well, it sounds like this.
Whiskey 6 Tango Kilo W6TK contest.
Whiskey 4 Lima Tango.
Whiskey 4LT, thank you. Dick in California.
Thanks, Dick. Lou, Lima Oscar United, Florida, Fox Lima.
Roger, Lou, thanks. Good luck. W6 Tango.
Echo Tango Tango.
Whiskey 4 Lima Tango.
W4 Lima Tango, this is Ken in Colorado.
Ken, Colorado, thanks. Lou, Florida, Lima Oscar United.
Very good, Lou. Thanks a lot. Yours.
David, Arizona.
Sugar, sugar.
Whiskey 4 Lima Tango. Whiskey 4 Lima Tango. K7 Sugar Sugar W4 Lima Tango. Whiskey 4 Lima Tango.
A7 Sugar Sugar.
Yeah, Whiskey 7 Sugar Sugar W4 Lima Tango.
W4LT Dan in Washington. My call is Kilo 7 Sugar Sugar.
That's what I have. Kilo 7 Sugar Sugar. Lou in Florida.
Thanks, Lou. K7S.
Both of those are the same length. They're both 1 minute long. See how the difference in rate between search and pounce and run? I worked 5 stations in search and pounce and run, and I worked 4 stations in search and pounce. And that's manual search and pounce. That's why you can heard me tuning through the band. You can work them faster through your logger if you're doing an assisted effort, but if you're doing unassisted, you have to tune the whole damn band, and that's the difference from there. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. Let's go back. Okay, there you go. So yeah, what my personal strategy is, you know, I have a modest station at home, tri-bander at 30 feet, and a wire for 40 meters, and I can't even use 80 meters because my yard isn't big enough. But I'm pretty successful from home with 500 watts if I can use 500 watts. But then with 500 watts, I'm 3 dB down from everybody that's running 1.5 kilowatts. So I'm at a disadvantage from an antenna standpoint. I'm at a disadvantage from a power standpoint. So the whole way of doing it is different here, where I have, you know, a 120-foot tower in the back with a 2-element beam at 118 feet for 40 meters. We rule the band. That antenna is the best antenna here. That 40-meter beam, it just rules the band. I can hold the frequency all night with 100 watts on 40 meters with that antenna. If it was not for that antenna, that piece of wood would not be up on that wall. But anyway, what I do is I look, first I get to a band, I look through the band to find out who's on it. And how do I do that? 2 ways. Do that on the cluster if I'm assisted, or I just tune through the whole band and make a note in my log. Just type in the call signs that I hear, move another, type it again, move another, type it again. If the guy's not busy, you know, if you see that the guy's not working a lot of people, try to work them, but don't spend a lot of time working them. Just what you want to do is you want to see what's on the band first, okay? And if the band is really busy, it takes a little while to do that. So you note who is where on your log. You work them if you can, but if you know, don't spend a lot of time. 30 seconds, that's a long time now. I work, you know, if I don't make them if I'm tuning through the band and if I don't copy somebody on the first call, I move on. Now, I note that if it's a very important station or if it's a rare station, I make a note of that and I try to work them a little bit more. But if it's like a guy in Ohio or something, you know, you call him once, if he doesn't answer you, move on. And that's the strategy of how you, you know, you got to know where you want to do, and you got to know where the contests are, and you got to know who the multiplier is. And the log will show you that. I'll show you in a bit. So if you run out of easy mults, that's what I call an easy mult, find a clear frequency and run. That's the whole thing. But keep an eye on the cluster, or keep an eye on what's going on the other stations. If you have another receiver too, you have a second receiver on your radio, nothing says that you can't call CQ on one radio, on one receiver, and tune the other one. I do that a lot, especially on 20, 15, and 10. I do that a lot because you never know. You know, the skip zones are changing, and you know, you can actually do it. So you call CQ on one and work people on one, and in between, while you're logging, you can listen and tune around to the other on the rest of the band. People do that also with 2 radios. It's kind of, if you've heard of SO2R. Yes.
Spectrum display.
Spectrum. That's right. If you have a rig that has a spectrum display, like a Flex or a late model ICOM or a Kenwood, that kind of stuff, you can look and see the pips on the screen, and those pips will show you that there's signals there. Like on Flex, what you can do is you can take the spotting network, the cluster, and you can superimpose the spots that you see on your spectrum display, so you know who is where. And that's a really handy thing to have.
External SDR receiver.
Yes, external SDR receiver. Correct. You can do that too. And with OmniRig, there's a piece of software called OmniRig. You can lock that receiver to your transmitter. So when you tune your receiver, the receiver will tune as well. Check out OmniRig. It's a very nice nice little piece of software that's free actually. So you keep an eye on the cluster when you're assisted, and on your rate meter. You'll see a rate meter on N1MM, and when it drops, you QSY to another one, or go search and pounce, or go to another band. That's the feeling that you would get for the band. It's no some contests like NAQP, if you're running multi, they once you get on change a band and make a QSO, once you make a QSO, you got to stay on that band for 10 minutes. So that's something strategy you have to keep in your mind how you're going to operate, because if you don't make a QSO after 5 minutes of trying to work somebody on 15 meters after you move to 15 meters, you don't have to stay there for 10 meters or for 10 minutes. You can move to another band if you don't make a QSO. If you make a QSO, though, a little clock will go on and it'll count you down. That's it for that. So accuracy, as far as I'm concerned, accuracy is pretty important. I'm not afraid to ask for fills, and the easy way to ask for fill is again. Just say again, and it'll send the whole information again. One of the things I learned at WRTC with the guys that I was being the ref for is the one guy that I was with, veteran, 9 Alpha, what's this called? 9 Alpha 7, 9 Alpha 5 DX is this called, veteran Sarpovic. He was the European Zone 7 champion. One of the things he does is really interesting that it worked for me too, is he'll go to a spot, he'll look at a spot, he doesn't trust the cluster. So he'll go to a spot, as soon as he gets there, first thing he'll say is, what's your call? He'll cut in and say, what's your call? Or in CW, send a question mark. And that forces, because a lot of these stations that are running, they're not going to say their call sign, okay? I tend to say it every other QSO that I make when I'm running and I'm really busy, but a lot of these guys go 10, 12 QSOs without saying their call sign, and I don't trust the cluster because the cluster has screwed me too many times. You have to listen to what the guy's call sign is, because a lot of people don't copy it right and post it on the cluster anyway, and that you busted that call sign, and everybody busts that call sign if they trust the cluster. So listen to what they're saying. So that's the key, and just ask them what's your call, and if you're strong enough, he'll come back with your call. And that means two things to you. First, you got a good signal to him, so the chances of you working him is really good. Second of all, you don't trust the cluster. What he sends you has to match the cluster if you're using the cluster. If you're not, whatever. But anyway, if you have a logger, if somebody's logging for you, we do that in field day here, that you have a guy next to you that's running the log and you're working. Just look at the guy and say, do we agree on the call? And if we agree on, both of you agree on the call, put it in. Sometimes the logger, when I log for people, if I copy something that they copy wrong, I'll repeat it to them in their ear. I'll just say, KQ4 Juliet. It's KQ4 Juliet, not KQ4 United, KQ4 Juliet. So that way, and then you both have to agree that that's the call sign you want. Because sometimes I make a mistake if I'm logging for somebody. If you guys, no, it's KQ4 the Yankee. Fine, no problem. Is the guy who's running, the guy whose name is on the log is in charge. If you're logging for somebody, you're not in charge. The guy who's actually running the station is in charge in a contest environment. That's how that works. Don't forget to hit, this is another one. Don't forget to hit enter after you enter the call sign. That's happened to me a lot. I'll say, well, I work a really good multiplier, and then I'll go someplace else and I didn't hit it. Don't hit enter, and I forgot where the guy I just worked for frequency was on, so I busted that call sign. So make sure you hit enter. If the logger will tell you if it's the wrong thing or you don't have enough information, it'll say not enough information, and it stops you from QSYing. But hit enter, even if you're not sure, just hit enter, and let the logger handle it for you. And a computer logger, it won't let you enter plainly bogus call signs like W34 Papa Diego. If you make a typo or something, or you get a 1x4, it'll know that 1x4, and it won't let you log it. But if you really want to log, shift enter, and that forces it to be logged that way. That's another thing that you can do. But accuracy does count. Make sure you always log what you hear. So that's the key. So now let's take a look at some loggers. These two, N1MM logger plus and N3FJP and AQP logger, These are, to me, the more popular ones. N1MM is kind of ubiquitous. Everybody uses it. It's a free software. Wonderfully done. It's a very, very nice logging system. It can be complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, you can just have the log and you can have the entry window. That's all you need. You don't want to do anything else. It looks really hard. It looks really scary, but it's not scary because you can have as many windows as you want open, or you can close a lot of the windows that you don't need really to actually have fun. So let's take a look at what that one looks like. And I got to close this one out here real quick. And I'll open N1MM. And again, I'll open this is an actual live logger. You cannot run two instances. Yes, well, I already have it open. I'm being way too smart for my own good. And here's the cluster. So the cluster is going to turn on here. And I want to minimize the cluster window because I really don't need it. And actually, I didn't run the antenna. So if you're going to do this here at the clubhouse, you would have the antenna up also. And that's the or from home, actually, because we can connect to our Flex and our stuff remotely here. Configuration service always happens when you're doing a demo. Oh, I didn't save that. Okay, so let me close that. Put my assume that there's an antenna in that empty hole. Assume this is you don't really need it, but assume that there's one in that empty hole here on the left-hand side. Okay, let me close this. So what do we have here? The two most important windows that you really need are this one here. This is the entry window. So if somebody calls me, give me a call sign. Somebody give me a call sign. KM4LEW. Okay, KM4LEW, your name is Larry, right? And you're in Florida. And I just logged him. See, here he is up in the log. He's a multiplier. He's the first Florida station I worked. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need. You can W4DUG. Okay, and let's say we call ourselves Bill, and we're in Texas. There you go. So now take a look at what we got here. See the blue check mark, the blue square, and see this page right here. This shows you the multipliers and who you worked on, what band you worked. 160 through 10 meters. Okay. And if it's blue, it means it's good, you worked them. If it's red, that means you haven't worked them. So let's say we're looking for multipliers. And here's a really handy thing about this particular software. I go right up to where it's red, and I just click it, and it QSYs my radio to that location. See, it puts the call sign right here. So when I want to work them, I just say W4LT. And he says W4LT, such and such. And notice it also has his name and where he's located. That's called a history file. There's a history file that remembers from the last time that you contested what stations you worked and what their name was. And there's a guy in Canada who maintains this database. And right before a contest, he'll post a history file, and you go and fetch it. The way you fetch it is you go over here to File, you go to Open Log and Database, and that log will open in the database, hopefully, if I press the right button. File, Open Log and Database. There you go. We got it. Unable to change contest log because contest below is current contest. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's see what we're doing wrong here. Open Log and Database. Unable to change contest log because this contact belongs to the current contest. Oh, I got to wipe it first. All right, Control W. Control W clears it. Now I can open log and database file. Open log and database. Yeah, see, it works better. All right, you would set this up. You set this up before you start the contest. You put, what kind of. Let's say I'm a single operator, single op, all low power, 100 watts, single sideband only. Don't worry about this. This is just nothing. Fixed station because you're not mobile. Assisted because I'm using the cluster. Single transmitter, the exchange, Lude, Florida, and how many operators. And this, if you update logs from the operator, if you update operators from the log, it'll put whoever put their call sign into the log into here. That's not a critical thing. The reason people do that is to see how good, how compare one operator to another one for the same station. But that's just something that you can do. And if you go over here to associated files, you'll notice that there's function keys for SSB. We're not using those right now. And there's also a call history file name. And if you want to get that, all you have to do is hit change. And then it'll ask you, what's the newest one? The newest one's 03, and we have 02. So he's updated it since I loaded this yesterday. So if I click on yes, it takes that database from the internet. Now, of course, you need internet access. It takes that database that this guy's come up with everybody's name and everybody's state, and puts it into your computer so that next time you put something, let's say we're going to work, go, there you go. So we're going to work N2NL, okay? There's his name is Dave, and he's in Florida. Wonderful, isn't it? But here's the key. Don't trust this either. Listen to what they're sending you. It puts it up there. You can't assume that it's correctly. So you listen and make sure he says Dave, and make sure he's in Florida. Because sometimes, especially in this contest, sometimes what these guys do is they honor another operator by, let's say, for instance, we did this one year when Biff passed away. Everybody was Biff in this contest. Everybody in the club was Biff. So, Lou, the history file says Lou, but in this contest, I'm Biff. So it's something to do. So anyway, this is a wonderful little feature here. That just click on it, and it just moves you to that location. And that's a good thing to have when you're got connected to your radio. Is it QSY's your radio? It just handles it, moves it over to whatever.
Well, excuse me. When you click on that, does it moves your radio to the exact frequency where they were heard?
When I click on that, the question was, what happens when I click on it? Does it move to the exact frequency? It moves to the frequency that was spotted. Okay, whoever put that up there. Now, say it's a CW contest. If it's a CW contest, the skimmer is going to find that signal and put it in there. Okay, but if everybody clicks on that spot and it's on the same frequency, you're on. All you hear is a tone, right? So remember, maybe you go to that location and just tweak the VFO to the left or right a little bit, so you're not exactly on his frequency. And that's helpful too, to help you get through the pilot. So, but anyway, you're at the mercy of whoever spots. Okay, so in phone, God love you, you don't know. A lot of call signs are busted in phone. A lot of frequencies are wrong. Let's say the guy forgets that his radio disconnected accidentally, and he goes through the band, and he keeps spotting people. Well, he's spotting people on the one frequency that the radio was on the last time. That's happened before. So, again, just like I say, you want to work this guy here, just look for the red marks and hit enter. There's W1 Golf Delta, all right? And if you want to log him, all you do is hit the space bar and watch. It puts everything in for you. That's really handy. But again, you listen, is it really Jerry? Does he spell it with a G or is it with a J? Okay? Is he in Massachusetts, MA? Okay, or does he say CT for Connecticut? That's the thing you got to keep in mind. That's a really handy little device to have. You see where it's yellow here? That means he's not in my my history file. If I wasn't, let's say I'm gonna log Jerry here. Let me log him. See, he's in the history file, so he's not yellow. So it's not a warning you that he's in there. Now, one thing about these colors that you see on this screen here, this logger, they can be different. Everybody has their own little favorite colors that you can put in this, so don't assume that the colors are correct. If this is the standard colors that come with the system, but you can change this by changing what they call the skins. I like mine black. I like mine dark. I don't like this is too bright for me. So don't assume that's right. Whatever. Here's Victor Charlie, 1 Whiskey Alpha. Let's click on him. And notice that if I hit spacebar here, we don't have any information on him. We don't have his name, but you see he's an NS. Okay, Nova Scotia in Canada. So he's a good multiplier to work. So he says his name is Filbert. Enter, and I logged him. But notice he's not in my history file because this is a special call sign. And notice here he's on 21290. Okay, so I could work him. The other ones that I put in there, they were on 7128, and I have two on 7128, which is the bottom of the 40 meter band. That's basically it. This is your scores here. Again, you can turn these on and off. This is a handy little window here. You can type in, let's say you can type in YU. I don't have it turned on. Master call. Let's see. Let's try it again. The JA. That doesn't. Okay, I don't have it turned on correctly, but it would show you like the first two letters, JA, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then possible rest of the call sign. So JA1, there you go. Okay, JA1, it could be JA1 AHS, it could be JA1 AZW, it could be JA1 BNW, so you get another one, JA1B, type that, these, and it goes back down. You only have these, JA1B, let's go BF. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it's JA1BFN. So if I put N here, it shows me it's correct. Hit enter, I'll log him. That's Toy, and he's DX. This is very handy, this check, the check window. Score is, I can leave it. You don't have to have it. The telnet window for the cluster, you can have it right here. And again, I'll let you figure out how this works on your own. So yes.
Is there a way to practice, or is it best just to jump in? That's a learning curve for me.
In single sideband, there is really not a good way to. The question was, is there a way to practice? In single sideband, there's not a lot of practice that you can do. In CW, yeah. In CW, there's a program that even connects to this logger that sounds like you're in a contest. It's amazing how well it works. It's called Morse Runner.
Say again?
Morse Runner. I think it's Morse Runner. Let me see. What's it called? Hang on. I'll give you the exact name. Off the top of my head is Morse Runner. So I can configure this logger. Digital modes. I think it's over here. Mode control, maybe. Band plan, no. And then the score reporting. Other Morse Runner mode. So if I click on this Morse Runner mode, it won't work now because I have a phone contest log up. But if I click on that, it simulates a contest, and it's amazing. There's another one called Morse Runner Community Edition, and that gives you multiple contests. You can practice sweepstakes, you can practice NAQP, you can practice whatever. They have a list of different contests that you can practice. Really great thing if you want to. And the other thing is, if you want to learn CW, that's a good place to learn it because it sends you call signs, and it even fakes a pileup. Sounds like you got multiple stations with multiple tones. It's a really, really, really well done simulator. So that's N1MM. And again, I was going to show you a quick look at this stuff. This is not going deep. I'll leave it to you to study it. Here's the other one that is pretty common. It's a lot simpler to use. N3FJP doesn't have a lot of automation. This is a good one to start. This is what we use for field day, right? We use the field day version of this here at the club. We used to use N1MM, but everybody thought it was too complicated, so then we went to this. The nice thing about this is it has its own cluster as well. As you can see, you can turn it on here. Settings, DX spotting. And it has its own cluster that you can connect to whatever clusters you want. Right now I'm connected to DX spots with my call sign. And you can do filtering here. I'm only getting North American spots, which for the North American contest kind of makes sense. And now notice this one, beep when you're spotted. So if you're working somebody and somebody spots you, this thing will go beep. It'll let you know you got spotted. That's important. Because if you get spotted, don't move off that frequency right away. People are going to find you. So this is the spot that's done. We're going to hit done. Let's say I work, I'll work Larry again. KM4LEW. Okay? Space. See, this doesn't have the automation. This doesn't have the history file. So you have to type in Larry, and you have to type in, let's see, tab, Florida. Okay? It's new. You can see it says new. Hit enter. Boom. He's logged. Please check rig interface. Yeah, I know. I have it turned on to have rig interface, and it's not connected. So that's okay. And if I want to spot Larry, I'll hit spot last, and it'll put it into the cluster. Clear. That clears that. Here's what you need. It'll say needed spot if you're, I don't have a K2 in this log, so it'll say needed spot. So I can click on this band right here. I can click on this. Okay. And it QSYs the radio to 20 meters. It's still on CW mode. Okay. And it puts the call sign up into the window. So you're ready to go. And the K2 SSS is Scott, and he is in New Jersey. Tab, New Jersey, NJ. New, okay, another multiplier. Bingo. Now, here's a nice thing. Here it says red. You don't have it worked, but you have New Jersey, so it turns blue. Okay. These are the ones I need. So if I see somebody that's, again, not as much automation as N1MM, this is more manual done. And this is a good one for you to start with, to learn with, because it forces you to do everything manually where N1MM takes care of it for you in the background. And that's good and bad at the same time, because you don't know what's going on. So let's say we're going to work N5QL. Let's work W8DF. We need him. So we click on that. Brings it up, W8DF up here is Don, and he is in Ohio. Now see, new, because we haven't worked Ohio. We hit enter. I have you selected CW contest, but the current mode in your rig is phone. Okay, so that's a CW QSO. So it takes care of you there. Let's see, well, I don't have any phone things here, so let's just change it to work me. No, that can't work me. It's N4TP. N4TP. Okay, and we're going to, our tab here, our usual name that we use here for contests is LEX, Lex, for Lex Luthor, in honor of the at that time, Governor of Florida, Rick Scott. Does he look like Lex Luthor to me? So that's the name we've been using, for 15 years. So you could use any name you want, but that's N4TP's name that we've been using for a long time. And in Florida, and new, enter, boom, it's done. There's your log up here, and bearing. It's nice that it shows you the bearing. Let's work. Let's work W5 Radio Nevada, W5RN. See, it's a bearing is 291. So if you would turn your antenna, and that's the thing I don't like for this log for contesting, because then I have to sit in front, and there's the rotor control in position A. Okay, you can have to manually turn the rotor control in position A, where with the other logger you just hit alternate J and it turns the antenna. Or you don't have to. You can be anywhere. You can be at home and it'll turn the antenna. So this one is a little bit less automation to it. W4RN, it's let's say he's using AJ, and he's in Nevada. November, Victor, enter. Yes, I know. Clear. So that's N3FJP. And again, here's your score statistics right here. We have 5 contacts, 5 multipliers. That's nice. Multipliers on this band are 3. How many points we have so far? How many points in the last 20 minutes? That's your rate here. This is your rate here. Last 60 minutes, 4. Last 20 minutes, 12. So that's a good rate. Did we work 12 people? No, but it says, if you keep on this pace, you're going to work 12 people. That's something to keep in mind as well. That is N3FJP in very high 50,000 foot view of it. So let's get back to our PowerPoint here. And F5. Where was it? F5. What I have to do here? Let's see. Slideshow, record, review, animation, slideshow from current slide. From current slide. There we go. Bingo. All right. There we go. So that's the two loggers. Again, there's other auto loggers. There's WinTest. There's another one called CQR. All kinds of different contest loggers. Normal logger, if you use like Ham Radio Deluxe, it wouldn't work very well for this application because it's got lots of other stuff that you don't need for a contest. So use a contest logger or a logger that can be adjusted to be a contest logger, like what the heck's the name of it? Logger 32. Logger 32 has a contest mode that you could use for it.
Lou,
Yeah.
The newest one out there, World Radio League, they're keeping up with all.
Oh yeah, World Radio League. That's another one. The nice thing about the World Radio League is it's web-based, so all you need is a browser, which is really handy. But then you can't interface the radio as well.
You can interface radio with it.
You can now?
Yes, you can.
Okay, you couldn't originally.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, awesome. And another thing, if you want, this is a cool cluster. I'll minimize this and show you this cluster. This is a really cool cluster that also can talk to your radio. Go here. We're going to go to the Holy Cluster. Holy Cluster. Okay, you go to the Holy Cluster here. This is really cool. Really cool cluster. And you can connect this thing to your radio. And whenever you click on someplace, a spot, it'll QSY your radio to that spot. And it's all web-based. It's all on the web. I sometimes use this. I have it on another computer, but I don't have it interfaced to the radio. But when I put it on my main computer is always interfaced to the radio, so it talks to my interface and it QSYs my radio. This is a really awesome. Whoever is designing this did a really wonderful job. You can also set alerts. See, it's set now for sweepstakes. VY1, SFL, ONN, LAX. These are all rare stations from these rare, not counties, but the rare sections that I put in here. And this thing, I have it running on another computer. It'll warn me that LAX is on. And I go look for it, and that's really handy for me to have, so I can work all the sections. And you can, once you work them, you just hit the X, and they go away. Now, this has a setup, so that it just recalled my setup because it has my call sign on it. When I recall this, it has my setup that I already set, so you can switch from computer to computer, and it'll follow you along. Really handy. So that's a completely off the record thing that I wanted to show you. That's really cool. So let's get back to where we were before. Boy, I'll tell you. There we go. Now we can hit from the current slide. Go. Come on. Whatever. All right, so we'll just do it this way. All right, so anyway, logging bases. You can see if your network, if you're here and you got two radios working. Okay. It's not changing. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just do this then. Let's just do this. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, here we go. We have to open it again. That always happens when you do a demo, but it is what it is, Here we go. Open the wrong thing. Let's open this. Genuine Microsoft product. And we're going to hit F5, and we're going to go forward to that slide. Sorry about that. I don't even remember what slide we were on. And we're on that slide. So that's the next slide here. Okay, strategy for Florida, basically, and also for the station here. N2NL is Dave. He is the guy who is in charge of this contest, and he's another WRTC world-class operator. Amazing guy. So one of the key things that when we live in Florida is you got to keep 10 meters in mind. Even when the sunspots are low, keep 10 meters in mind, because 10 meters opens this far south faster than it'll open up north. 10 meters is completely dead up in Pennsylvania when I was living up there, and it wouldn't open at all, But down here in Florida, even at the lowest part of the sunspot cycle, you often get propagation across the, the same latitude that we're on. So keep 10 meters in mind for multipliers. Start high, like 10 meters, work your way down the bands. NAQP activity follows this pattern by history. People start on 10 meters and work their way down, and at midnight, 1 o'clock, they're in 160 or 80. I'm not on 160. I have an antenna for that, but I'm on 80. But anyway, move multipliers to other bands if you can. Okay, not every station, but strong ones. Remember that. Remind them to look for me on 40, 80, and 160 when you're working them on 10, 15, and 20. Make friends, influence people. All right. And when rate drops, go search and pounce. What do I mean by moving a multiplier? Let's say I work New Brunswick. Let's say for instance, or another one, Northern Territories. I think it's. What?
Northwest Territories?
Yeah, Northwest Territories, okay? I think Northwest Territories is a rare, I think there's like 3 hams there. Okay? More now that they're putting remote stations there. There's 3 hams there. Let's say you work, you work him on, and he calls you. When you call them, they're not going to move. But when he calls you, and that happens. I had a VY1 call me, out of the blue one day. And it was like, holy shit. So he's a big deal multiplier, okay? So move him to another band. If you're on 10 meters, say, hey, you want to go to 15? So, yeah, sure, right. Find a frequency on 15. Well, here's the key. One of the things that I do often, and especially when I'm doing a single operator contest or a contest that's mixed, which means it's both CW and voice at the same time, is I will set the second VFO. I will set the second VFO on the phone side of the phone frequency when I'm on CW. And when I move them, I hear a multiplier on CW. I said, SSB question mark? And he says, RRR, and I give him the frequency. It's a frequency that I've got set. It's frequency way the hell up on the top of the band, like 28,725 or 28,723.2. Something that nobody is going to, be there. You don't have to check. So you say QSY this frequency, and if you're using N1MM, you can send the frequency right from the keyboard. It knows where you are. He goes up there. You hit your second VFO. You just go to BVFO, and he's there. And you work him real good. When you're done, hit AVFO again and continue your run. It's a very, very nice thing. It works really well. Single VFO. It's called SO1V. You can do it as SO2R, but it's just easy SO1V. That's a way to really increase your scores if you do it that way. Same with 15. What we got 21,450. So we go to 21,422.3, and set that on the other VFO ahead of time. And then when you want to move somebody from 15 meters, up you go. That's a neat technique that I tend to use. So you know the equipment in it and its advantages. For instance, if you're here versus where you're at home, here you've got huge antennas with 100 watts. We basically are world-class station here as far as a domestic contest. This is the place to be. We have 2 very, very good tri-banders. One is very high, one 108 feet, another one's at 60 feet. So take the one that's at 60 feet, move it to the northeast. Take the one that's at 108 feet, move it to the west or to the northwest because you're in Florida, we're in the corner. Okay, that covers the entire country. So when you're on 20 meters, 15 meters, and 10 meters, all you have to do is switch antennas. You don't need to take the time to wait for the antenna to turn from the west to the north. You just hit antenna 2, antenna 1, antenna 2, antenna 1. Beautiful. Works great. Be aggressive. Don't be shy. Okay? If you're shy, you're going to lose. Be aggressive. Okay? Let's say you make a stupid mistake and you cover somebody up and they'll yell at you. You lid, what the hell are you doing? Are they going to kill you? They're going to bite you? No, move on. Okay? Don't worry about it. Be aggressive. Learn from that mistake, but be aggressive. Okay? Hold your frequency against QRM. A lot of people, I love this example. I was on 20 meters, I think it was 71, 89. And you know, there's an OMIS net on 7185. Okay? And I'm calling CQ there with 100 watts. It was this station here, calling CQ. This two guys come up. And, hey, contester, your QRM in the net. I said, what? I asked if the frequency's in use. Nobody answered me. Yeah, you're still QRM in the net. I said, wait a minute. I'm like 5 kilohertz above you, and I'm QRMing, and you're lower sideband, and I'm QRMing your net? Yeah, man. I said, what kind of radio are you running? The guy said, well, I got myself a brand new IC718. I said, IC718? Hey, wait a minute. Do you have any filters on that? What filter are you using? The guy come back and said, filter? What's that? Oh! Anyway, that's the fun part of this. But most of all, have fun and learn about your radio by having fun. You learn when you're contesting. You really learn how to adjust your filters, how to set your your band pass the correct way, how to adjust your microphone for the best transmitting signal. That kind of stuff. That's the key to this. It gets you to really learn your radio, which is what I like about it. So if you're going to contest here, what do you bring with you? Well, you bring food, dinner. I usually go to Subway, get a Subway sandwich without lettuce and tomato. That way it won't get bad. It won't get squishy. And put it in the freezer. We got a nice refrigerator here. Make some money for the drinks and snacks. We always have drinks and snacks here. If you have a headset, if you don't have a headset, buy a headset. Because having your own headset's important because everybody got germs here. Okay, so bring your own headset. Don't share it if you don't have to. Okay, we should have somewhere, I always bring a bottle or a spray of Lysol if I'm going to use the headsets here, and even if I'm going to use the keyboards here. Before I get on, it's a quick spray on the keyboard, wipe it, and then you can go to, because it's not that you guys, aren't healthy or whatever, but it's always good to make sure that, you don't catch COVID or whatever from other people. We have Kenwoods now, so you can use the regular Heil headset system, the Q6 or whatever it is called. One good headset that I found is a Yamaha CM500, which works on just about any radio, even if it doesn't have the capability of feeding bias voltage to it. It has a little box that comes with, put a battery in it, and away you go. Another one that I found is really handy is a what the heck's the name of it? Razer Black Shark version 2. I have one of them. It looks exactly like the $250 Pro Set. You've seen those in the magazines. I think it looks exactly the same. It's built exactly the same. It's $40. All right? It's $40. Wonderful headset. Even if it doesn't work for you, you can use it on the computer. It's a wonderful little headset. But anyway, bring your headset. Okay? We don't use your desk mic. Don't use your hand mic. How are you going? If you're using the hand mic or your desk mic, how are you going to type in? Okay, so you got to have a headset or have a boom mic or something with a foot switch. You got to have the foot switch. That's important. You can spend $40 for a Heil foot switch, or you can buy the same foot switch, exactly the same foot switch as the Heil foot switch. It don't say Heil on it, but it's exactly the same for $14 at a Guitar Center. I walked in, I said, Heil said $14 at Guitar Center. Or on the internet, I bought 2 headsets for $10. Two foot switches for $10. Exactly the same as the Heil headset. So, when you go into the radio room there and people are contesting, don't sit and socialize in there. Come out here and socialize, okay? Be on time for your shift, read the radio manual, and watch N1MM Blogger videos this week so you can learn how N1MM and N3FJP videos as well on the internet. Lots of stuff you can find on the internet. That's it, basically. Any questions that you have so far? Yes?
Just a comment. I
Comment.
monitored with you
Right. Huh?
And one thing I found very striking when you talk about aggressiveness, you basically, you were running the QSOs.
Yeah, that's
And people were trying to step on you, and you were basically kicking them off. And you were very persistent about that, and you would just go. You didn't take any crap, and because of that, you were very successful at it. That's a demeanor. In order to be successful doing something like this, that's sort of the demeanor you have to do.
yeah. It's your when you're running, that's your frequency. You own it.
You have to.
Okay. Okay. And you're in charge of that QSO. All right. It's your QSO. You tell people what to do.
Yeah. And for me, that was very instructive. And I would just tell anyone here, if you really want to learn how to do that, you need to sit down with someone like yourself, monitor, and see how you run those QSOs. For me, that was very instructive.
Well, thank you. That's again, I set the tone for my pileup. Okay, it's my pileup, so I tell the pileup what to do. Okay, they get 4 or 5 people calling you. One guy calling you over and over and over again. I say, call me one more time. I'm not going to work you. All right. Another thing, work all dupes. Okay, it takes less time to work the guy than to say, hey, I just worked you before. You were at, I worked you at, let me look at my log, 1423 on 20 meters. So, you're a dupe. Well, just work him. All right? Because if you put him on your log, they're not going to charge you for the dupe. Okay, you're not going to get docked for that dupe. He's going to get docked because he's got me logged twice, but I'm not going to get docked. So, that's his problem, not my problem. So work all duplicates. Quicker to do it that way. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Another tip is, if you have an antenna you need to turn, rather than wait, call them before you turn it. Sometimes you're strong enough to still work them out.
Yeah, that's right. And call while the antenna's turning. The big tower here in the back, it just turns so slow, but it is what it is, a huge tower, so it's got to have time to turn. Another cool thing is we got 3 towers. Okay, this one here is a 55-footer. It doesn't turn right now, but when it turns, this is my Caribbean antenna. Okay, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, that antenna there. That one's my north, the one on the south tower. That one's the northeast antenna. Maine to South Carolina, okay, out east to like Ohio and that area. The one in the back, the big antenna, that's my west antenna. Okay, that's for California, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, and the Midwest kind of in the middle. That way, I have that antenna switch, and I patch the antennas right, and I can switch between them instead of having to wait for them to turn. The advantage that we have here in Florida is we're at the southeast corner of the country. If it's a domestic contest, we're where we need to be. And again, Puerto Rico is on the back of the big beam, and he's going to hear you, but it's a lot better when you have the antenna pointed at him, so you can work them a lot easier. And again, if you don't have to turn it, wow, what a wonderful thing to do. At home, it's a little different. At home, I got to wait for my rotor to turn, but I got a small tower with a small rotor, and it turns it's a Yaesu rotor. It turns real fast. It's the only piece of Yaesu equipment I own. That's another long story, but anyway, that's a handy thing to have here. We have 3 towers. We can do lots of neat stuff here. Anything else? Nothing else? It's really, to me, this is the competitive part of ham radio is kind of fun. I was lucky enough to be chosen as a referee at WRTC, and that was a learning experience for me. Because these guys, the guys I was ref for were unbelievable. They're from a little town in Croatia called Daruvar, and these guys are unbelievable. The way they were like one person. Okay, when they got going, there's 2 of them. They're sitting next to each other. They were like one person because they were one brain. They've worked together for 15 years. as a competitive team, and each one knew the other one was going on, and they'd yell at each other in Croatian. And the main guy would, and every 1,000 QSOs, they had this liquor that tasted like licorice, made out of what is it? Peach? No, it wasn't ouzo. It's some kind of peach thing. The way it works is they has a peach, and when the flower happens, they put a Fanta bottle on it, and the peach thing, grows inside the bottle, and it tastes like licorice. And Lou, here, have some. Yeah. Oh man, just knocked you on your butt. They did 6,000 QSOs. They took 6 shots of that stuff through 24 hours. And I don't know, never drink with an Eastern European. Those guys are unbelievable. But I video of that. I should show you the video someday. I have it in my phone here. Video of Vedran taking a hit. And he goes right back at 50 words per minute. So that's a cool thing. But WRTC, you watch people like N4GI, who does field day here at CW. Watch him operate. I mean, you can have a conversation with him, and he's doing 35 words per minute on CW. Okay, good operators like that. You watch, you learn a lot from them. Just hang around people who know what the heck they're doing, and learn from that, and then work on it on your own. Always keep that in mind. That I remember when Vedran did this and that. That's where I learned to say, "What you call?" I learned that from Ved, because he was very successful with that on phone. Anything else?
Well, I think that's the value of being active in a club.
Yes.
There's some experts here. I mean, I learned CW from Bill. And he was just so patient with me, yet he pushed me up over 30 words a minute.
Yeah.
I was stuck at like 18 or something like that. And it's the willingness of people like you to share your knowledge is invaluable. So thank you.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, it's my privilege to be able to operate this station. This is, I mean, if not for this station, that piece of wood wouldn't be up there. And I've won sweepstakes now 4 times. And once with my station at home, 3 times with this station here. It's so much easier here because of the antennas we have. That's it. If there's nothing else, we'll wrap this up and we'll go from there.